Palestinians, we're not Syrians, we are all. Look. I decided to be anonymous because this is not about me. This is not about you. It's about the children who are being massacred. What use is it if you know who I am? What use is it if you know my name? Because we don't know the names of the Palestinian children who are dying. We don't know the names of the pregnant women who have been killed. We don't know the name of the men who are butchered in Masjid al-Aqsa. Do we? Do we? So why do you need to know about who I am and who the people next to you are? From now, I am a Palestinian. From now, I will be Palestinian in my identity. From now, you will be Palestine. From now, you will be Palestinian. From now, you will think about the Palestinians who are being butchered and massacred. We need to be organized. The world's media are here. They need to understand that these Palestinians are serious. Malcolm X said, before we can do anything, organize the people. Organize the people. Free, free! Free, free! Now, I'm going to invite the first speaker. I am told that George Galloway is also on his way, a prominent and a prevalent figure within the Palestinian fight for freedom, end to occupation, end to brutality, end to massacre. So I will invite the first speaker. I don't know who he is. I've just been given this list. You can see it. First speaker is Haroon Raza.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Today I have not come to deliver a message. Inshallah, the scholars and the speakers who will come, they will deliver their messages. But I have only come from Birmingham to come and to make the city of London, to make the people of the UK, and for these trees, for every raindrop which falls, we want the raindrops to testify, and every tree to testify that when our brothers and sisters were being massacred in Gaza, we did not have the opportunity to go to Palestine and fight with them. However, standing in the UK, we got together under their izzah, under their name. So I depart with some slogans in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I want every single person from the top of their lungs to proclaim the takbir of Allah. So every tree can be witness. So every person can be witness that we are raised in the name of Allah in the honor of our brothers and our sisters who are being victimized in Gaza. Nara takbir! Nara takbir! Allah Palestine some to hear this. May every person hear this. Takbir! 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 Everybody the flags. Whoever has a flag, wave it. Takbir! Imagine for a moment
Imagine on the 24th of December, on the 24th of December, in Vatican City, the police and armed forces came in and raided a church. Imagine that took place. Are you with me? You're with the example, right? Imagine on the 24th of December, the armed forces raided the Vatican City, a church in the Vatican City. The entire world would have been on fire. The entire world would have raised a voice. The entire world would have came out in the masses to show the injustice that takes place on the 24th of December, a night before Christmas. Imagine armed forces raided a church in the Vatican. The Prime Minister of every country would have stood up in solidarity and they would have raised their voices. Members of the public would have come out onto the streets to raise their voices. The media, the newspapers would have printed, they would have continued to print until the ink ran out. But what happened in Masjid al-Aqsa? What happened in Al-Aqsa? Nobody spoke up. No one leader came out. There was no one. There was no one for those peaceful worshippers in the last few days of Ramadan. Nobody raised a voice. Nobody said a word. Is this not hypocrisy? Is this not hypocrisy? Not justice. Not justice. Not justice. Not justice. They burn our trees. They burn our houses. They throw us out of our lands. They kill our children. They torture us. They desecrate the sanctity of our mosques. What was our crime? That we were born Palestinian. And a week before they raided Al-Aqsa, they raided a church, innocent nuns, innocent Christians. They even raided their church and threw them out. This is an occupation. What is it? This is a... Come on guys, Boris Johnson can't hear you. This is a... This is a... 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation no more. 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 Say it louder. We're in London, not Bradford. They can hear us. This is where they make the decisions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation no more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation no more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation no more. How can you have an occupation yet demand justice? No, sorry, peace. If somebody came into your house and threw you, your children, your wife, your family, your elderly parents out of your house, and then said this guy's not peaceful. That's mad. What happened in Masjid al-Aqsa? It was after the Israelis evicted Palestinians from their homes in Sheikh Jarrah. They evicted people from Sheikh Jarrah. So what did the Palestinians do? On the final night of Ramadan, they decided to walk and stand and demonstrate like humans. But what did the Israeli forces do in return? They beat them. They beat them. They desecrated the sanctity of a mosque. Unreasonable force was used against Article 51 of the Geneva Convention. They beat them. They broke the windows of Al-Aqsa. They threw the worshippers out. Who remembers Notre Dame? When Notre Dame burnt down, the entire world stood up in support. The entire world stood up to pledge to repair Notre Dame. Al-Aqsa is almost 100 years older than Notre Dame. Who's pledging support? Who is standing up and pledging support? Which country is there to replace the windows? Which leader is there to sort the mosque out after they desecrated it? Is this not injustice? Is this not hypocritical? We have to become organized in order to raise a voice or two. Don't go back to your cause today and forget about Palestine. Imagine your children and your daughters and your sons were in the midst of an occupation. You would do whatever it takes to raise a voice. You would do whatever it takes to raise a voice. We live in the best democracy in this world, the United Kingdom. The reason for why they're not listening to you is because we're not organized. When you will become organized, they will listen to you. When you start raising the voice of Palestine besides ego, and when you become anonymous for the sake of Palestine, that's when they will listen to you. Not justice. Not justice. Not justice. I'm going to invite the next speaker. St. George Galloway will be here, and I'll invite him straight onto the stage. The next speaker is the organizer of this event. Him, along with his friends from Bradford, organized this event. They asked me to attend yesterday, and I'm here. Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! The response to that is, we will never let you drive. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Louder! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! In our hundreds, in our thousands, we are all! In our thousands, in our millions, we are all! In our millions, in our billions, we are all! And lastly, I know most of you are British. I need to stress that we don't want any arrests today. Can you imagine tomorrow the violent Palestinians and their supporters desecrated Downing Street, 10 arrested? We don't want that. Are you in agreement?
Yes.
We're here for Palestine.
Yes.
We don't want that. We don't want it. And the next thing that I mentioned before Rez comes up. Hey, George. Oh, George is there. Oh, all right, let's get George on. But before I call George, because we're British, I say, whose street? Whose street? Our street. 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 You see them guys in uniform? They're our police as well. You see these buildings? They're our buildings as well. How we make a difference is through democracy, and that's what we're here for today. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Not justice! Not justice! Not justice! Well, George Galloway has no idea who I am, but I know who he is. He won't find out who I am today. I invite... Alright, change your plan again. We are now going to invite the one and only Razak Hussain, or what? He's asking if he has to. He can't organize this event and not speak. Razak Hussain from One Vision.
Right, people. We announced this in Bradford, we announced it in all over Yorkshire as well, appealing to you guys to be the voice for the voiceless. You're here today, you made that effort, alhamdulillah, fantastic. I can't thank you guys enough. I want to thank the police as well for the support. We're here for one reason and one reason only, and that's to make noise, be the noise for the people of Palestine. So let me hear you make you some noise. The people of Palestine, can I hear your voice, people? We need to be the voice for the voices. I'm not a speaker, I'll put it out there. I can't speak. But you know what? I speak passionately for the Palestinians. The Palestinians are crying out for your help. They're crying out for your support. We need to be the voice for the voiceless. You and I together, we appeal to you guys. So please, let me hear you people. We want to hear you guys for the Palestinians. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! You know what? George Galloway is coming next. I don't know why I'm up here, but he's coming. You all know him. He's passionate about this cause as well. So should you be. You and I should all be passionate about the Palestinian cause. This issue, the land of Al-Aqsa doesn't just belong to the Palestinians. It belongs to the Ummah of the beloved Prophet. So people, you and I need to wake up. It's time you and I woke up. I'm not a speaker, I told you I can't speak. But you know what? I'm the passion to speak for the people of Palestine. And you and I will speak for the people of Palestine. So please, make some noise. I can hear you guys, but come on. Why are the streets empty here in London? I can see the sides empty, the other sides empty. You guys need to make some noise. Need to put effort into this event. So I urge you guys to make some noise for the Palestinians. The people of Palestine can hear you guys. So those that are against the Palestinians, and remember, our cause is not against the Jews. Our cause is against the Zionist terrorists. So we are not against the Jews. And I know some issues happened on the way here, on the convoy. You know what? There was little issues, but alhamdulillah, it went fantastic. We did it to the best of our ability we could. So, right now, there's this, I don't want to make a speech. I can't talk. All I want you guys to do is make noise for the Palestinians. They want to hear your voice. You wanted to be the voice for the voiceless. They're calling for your help. So come on people, we want to hear your voice. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! I got the music of I don't want to hear my voice. I want to hear you lot. Come on people of UK, speak up. Speak for the Palestinians. We are here today for the Palestinian brothers and sisters. They're crying out for your help. They're crying out for your support. So let me hear you guys. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. No one will do it better. It's short. I'm going to teach people to come as well. Once again, I want to thank every single person, the organizers, there's so many photographers, all of you on the country. This was something, you know what, this is not our first demonstration, it's my first demonstration, but it's definitely not the last one. It's not our last demo. This is the first of many. You know what people, this wasn't a party. We haven't invited you guys on a wedding. We haven't invited you guys to come here and chill out and just go back, back your home and go back. The reason being here today was to stand shoulder to shoulder with our Palestinian brothers that are suffering in Palestine right now. Today was about standing, uniting in solidarity with our brothers that are suffering in Palestine right now. They need your help, they need your support. And remember, right now it's not about the donations. Right now the Palestinians don't want your donations. They want you and I to stand shoulder to shoulder, together, united in solidarity for those that are suffering. So make some noise people, don't stop chanting. You need to make noise. You need to make noise for the Palestinians so they can hear you. Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm going to pass it on to the host for the day, and I want to thank you guys again.
I'd like to say for one voice, make some noise.
While we listen to tunes made by April the Fool,
Before we invite George Galloway on, Let's make some noise. Free, 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 free. Louder, free, free. Sing it, free, 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 free. Oh, come on, guys. Boris Johnson is still asleep. Free, 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 free. Not just us, 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 not just us. No, no, not just us, not just us. Not that way.
Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. When the Prophet Abraham was cast into the fire by the tyrant king Nimrod, it was witnessed in horror by a small bird. The small bird immediately flew to the water and began bringing water one beakful at a time to try and put out the fire which threatened the Prophet Abraham. Someone asked the bird, "What are you doing with this beakful of water? How can you fight this fire?" And the bird answered, "I know, but I have to be able to tell God that I did what I could." That is what you are doing here today. You're doing what you can. It is small, but it will be heard in Gaza, in Jerusalem, in Palestine, all of Palestine, all over the world. Here we are at the seat of British government, and while we acknowledge that the British government was one of those that voted to demand a ceasefire, only the United States voted against that. The British government knows better than anyone else, as it was the British government that caused the Palestinian disaster in the first place, when Mr. Balfour, on behalf of one people, promised to a second people the land that belonged to a third people. The British government knows more than anyone else that without justice there will never be peace in Israel, Palestine, in the Middle East, or indeed further afield. We say no justice, no peace, but the corollary of that is with justice there must be peace. And in that spirit, I want all of us to acknowledge here today and to salute the brave Jewish heroes that are standing up against this massacre in Gaza, this massacre in Palestine. Brave Jewish heroes in Britain, in the United States, and in Israel itself. One of them I have on my show tonight, Gideon Levy, the foremost Israeli journalist who has been the clearest voice anywhere in the world against the mass murder of the Palestinians in Gaza. Now, some of you know, because some of you convoyed with me to Gaza over and over again, breaking the siege over the last 14 years or more, that this little effort that we make, when it's made by millions, makes a difference. I can already see the difference between this massacre and previous massacres. We now have heroes like the Leicester City footballers who on their cup final day, when they had every right to be proud of themselves, hoisted the flag of Palestine at Wembley Stadium on the pitch in front of the FA Cup. We have many such heroes now. Zayn Malik and many others. We have people in Hollywood, people in Broadway, people in top football roles. Mo Salah, Paul Pogba. We have many who are ready to raise our flag and raise this cost. But the supporters of the massacre are few and far between. Fewer than they have ever been and farther than they have ever been. So we are winning this battle of ideas that is going on around the world. It's simple, you know. It's like football. It's really very simple. The land of Palestine was stolen by a colonial apartheid project. Millions of Palestinians have been scattered to every corner of the globe, but they will never give up their right to return to their land, to their homes, to their orchards, to their fruit trees, and if it takes generation after generation, they will never surrender. Mr. Churchill along there in his statue was famous for that phrase, and he did not surrender. But anyone who's imagining that the Palestinian people will ever surrender their rights knows better now. After all that's happened these last few days, after all that's happened these last few years, these last few decades, this last half century and more, it is abundantly clear that the Palestinian people will never surrender. And as long as 100 of them remain alive, we will stand with them and do whatever we can to come to their aid. My last words are these. I cannot forswear these words. I must say them. Those Arab rulers belly dancing for the Americans and for Netanyahu need to hang their heads in shame at what is happening to the Palestinian people. Almost all of them would have been fasting over these last weeks. Almost all of them would have been celebrating the Eid. Do they think that God is blind? Do they think God cannot see that they are less than that little bird which tried to extinguish the fire that was consuming the prophet Abraham? The judgment day comes for us all. Judge yourself before you are judged. Judge yourself, your silence. Ask yourself, what will you say when you are asked? What did you do when the fire was consuming the children in Gaza in 2021.
Yes.
You at least
You're right.
will say, men and women of the north of England, that you got into your cars and you came here to London to bear witness not just to the slaughter but to the courage of the Palestinian people. They used to say that Palestinians fought like heroes. Now they say heroes fight like Palestinians. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, George Galloway, a prevalent and a prominent speaker and warrior in the name of Palestine. Now look, I know a lot of you are feeling passionate about the cause. For the last 10 years, I have done nothing but stand up for the rights of the Palestinians, for the rights of the Kashmiris, for the rights of the persecuted around the world. I know all too well how it feels to be muzzled. I know all too well how it feels, the frustration, the anger, the annoyance. I know how it feels. But we have to be savvy. It's one thing I've learned in my years speaking up to Palestine. It's this. They don't give a shit about you. It's true. Until you get organized, until you remember what land you're on. We choose to be here. We were born here. We choose to remain here. So then we have to use the democratic process in order to make a change. Do you feel me? Some of you might think that this is a Muslim issue. Some of you may believe it. Others might not. There may be Christians who believe that it's a Christian issue. Others might not. Some might believe it's a humanitarian issue. Others might believe it's a conspiracy. But one thing I ask you, that a lot of you I can see are Muslim. You are only a few percentage in this country. You are 3.6 million out of over 60 million people. So make sure that your actions don't lead to Islamophobia. Make sure that your actions don't mean that your women are no longer safe on the streets. We have a duty. Are you with me? There's some brothers on the side, they have images of someone that this country has labeled as an extremist. I have nothing against anybody, but I will tell you one thing, the world media will pick it up and you will see Islamophobia rise and your women will no longer be safe on these streets. Be careful about what you do. This is not Pakistan. This is 65 million people in this country. And out of them, only 3.6 million are Muslims. You cannot protect yourselves. Never mind your daughters. Never mind your sisters. Think politically. Think! How can we allow extremism to come into the United Kingdom? Free, free! 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 Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! Viva, viva! I'd like to invite the next speaker, a speaker from Friends of Alexa. Yesterday they had over 150,000 people. I have a young participant called Mariam Ahmed who will come and recite a short small poem in the name of Palestine. Mariam Ahmed.
This is a poem written by a Palestinian girl a couple of years ago, and yet in 2021 her words still apply. Look into my eyes and tell me what you see. You don't see a thing, because you can't relate to me. You're blinded by our differences. My life makes no sense to you. I'm the persecuted Palestinian, and you're the American red, white and blue. Each day you wake in tranquility, no fears to cross your eyes. Each day I wake in gratitude, thanking God He let me rise. You worry about your education and the bills you have to pay. I worry about my vulnerable life and if I'll survive another day. Your biggest fear is getting a ticket as you cruise your Cadillac. My biggest fear is that the tank that has just left will turn around and come back. American, do you realize that the taxes that you pay feed the forces that traumatize my every living day? The bulldozers and the tanks, the gases and the guns, the bombs that fall outside my door, all due to your funds. Yet do you know the truth of where your money goes? Do you let your media deceive your mind? Is this the truth that no one knows? You blame me for defending myself against the ways of the Zionists. I'm terrorizing my own land and I'm the terrorist. You think you know all about terrorism, but you don't know it the way I do. So let me define the term for you and teach you what you thought you knew. I've known terrorism for quite some time, 54 years or more. It's the fruitless garden, uprooted in my yard. It's the bulldozers in front of my door. Terrorism breathes the air I breathe, and the penalties of breaking that curfew rule. Terrorism is the robbery of my land, and the torture of my mother, the imprisonment of my innocent father, the bullet in my baby brother. So American, don't tell me you know about the things I feel and see. I'm terrorizing my own land, and the blame is put on me. But I will not rest, I shall never settle, for the injustice my people endure. Palestine is our land, and there will remain until the day our homeland is secure. And if that time shall never come, then you will never see a day of peace. I will not be thrown from my home, nor will my fight for justice cease. And if I am killed, it will be in Palestine. It's written on my every breath. So in your own patriotic words, give me liberty or give me death. Thank you. From the river to the sea! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Guys, if you think the Gazans can't see you, you're wrong. People in Gaza can see you. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Unit! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! Unit! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry! 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 I'd like to invite the next speaker, Suhail Ahmed Qadri.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين الصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه وذرياته أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Brothers and sisters, we are here on Whitehall demonstrating for Palestine. And Alhamdulillah, even though it's raining, we've turned out in our thousands. And Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed each and every single one of you with the energy and the drive and the passion to come out here and demonstrate for your brothers and sisters in Palestine. Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Alhamdulillah, our brothers and sisters are fighting with valor and are fighting in Palestine for their existence. They are fighting for their survival. When they see images of you around the world, their brothers and sisters standing up and supporting them, they are further empowered with power and with further valor and excitement that inshallah we will be freed. Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! We are standing here in front of Downing Street. These people need to know that the Muslims in the United Kingdom are awake. The Muslims in United Kingdom will continue to raise their voice for our brothers and sisters in Palestine, for our brothers and sisters anywhere in the world where they will face injustice. And the injustice starts when brothers and sisters go from here to Palestine. Many of you have come with me to Palestine when we have visited there, and the injustice starts at the airport. Sheikh Imam Muhammad Asim Hussein has witnessed it firsthand. Sheikh Imam Muhammad Adil Shazad has witnessed it firsthand. Imam Asim was in Masjid al-Aqsa and Sheikh was with him coming out, and the police, the Israeli police, stopped them and said, this Palestinian Sheikh cannot go with you. There are many shuyukh, there are many ulama who go from here on tailored Zionist sponsored trips, but alhamdulillah, these sheikhs, Imam Asim and Imam Adil, have gone there with passion, have gone there with drive, have gone there with full of love, courage and strength to show the Palestinian brothers that our solidarity is with you, and many of you have continued to support them, and inshallah ta'ala we will continue to support them. Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Naat Takbir! Naat Nisar! And I will tell you, not only do we only face injustice, but this man standing here, I have spent 3 nights in an Israeli prison. Imam Adil is a witness to this, and so is Imam Asim. 3 nights, and that is just a taste of what the brothers in Palestine feel day in, day out. They may be in their homes, they may be sitting with their families, but they are in prison, the world's largest open prison. They need to be freed. Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Naat Takbir! Naat Nisar! Naat Nisar! Naat Nisar!
Look, once again, I announced it at the start of this demonstration that Israel won almost a decade ago. We're not going to win against Israel any longer. It's a fact. Let's become realists. The one thing we're here for today is to ask the leaders of the world to stop the death and destruction. Immediate stop to the death and destruction. We want no more children to die. We want no more women to die. We want no more men to die. Stop the death. Stop the destruction. Stop the massacre. Hold Israel to account. Hold them to account. Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Free, Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Gaza, don't you cry! You know, the problem is that when you see the images of young babies blown to bits, when you see the images of young babies blown to bits, words fail you. Words fail you. When you hear about an entire family that has been killed, words fail you. The world has failed Palestinians. The world has failed Palestine. And I say it to you again, if you want to make a difference, then ask your MPs, not us, demand your MPs to raise a voice and demand justice for the Palestinians. Beyond that, we can't do anything. Next time you vote, don't vote for the uncle next door. Next time you vote, don't vote based on caste or boundary. Next time you vote, become a Palestinian and vote. Who's with me?